like the real deal here.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys got one hell of a setup.
Would you want an intro?
Let's go with the intro and then we can get started. You okay? Hi and welcome everyone back to the Superhero Club, Superhjälteklubben in Swedish. We are now doing this part in English.
Yeah,
which
first
is
time.
Very different and weird for us.
Yeah.
But that is because we have our first international guest.
Yeah.
And we are very happy to say welcome to Agnes Garbowska.
Thank you for having me.
Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, you are. Good job.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. How, Agnes, would you describe yourself and what you do?
I've been told I am very good chaos. I am a little chaotic. The art I do is very cute, very happy, and I hope brings people joy.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I would very much consider that is exactly what you do. Because you're working on, among other things, My Little Pony. You're working on DC Superhero Girls. I'm not familiar with the title. Is it Superhero Girls?
Yeah, DC Superhero Girls, and then I also work on Teen Titans Go.
Yes, and you make books.
Books.
You're not on the animated show, you're on the books.
I am. I work on the comic books and the children's books.
Oh, yeah. So you have a bunch of stuff with you here to Comic-Con. And you have been sitting here for a signing today. And you are going to do that the entire day. You're here tomorrow as well.
Yes, I am here all 3 days, and I'm at the table all 3 days. If I'm not there, it means I'm just grabbing lunch, so I could be there all day afterwards.
Okay, wonderful. Great.
Oh, and I have like panels. I'm going to be drawing live this weekend too, so that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, you had something 5 o'clock today, right?
That is correct. I think I'm drawing or talking. Guys, I'm an artist. I don't check my schedule very well. I just get told where to go. But I know it's either talking or drawing today, talking or drawing tomorrow. I'm just not sure which one's which.
But you do both very well, so no worries, right?
No worries for me.
No worries, absolutely. First things first, this was your first time in Sweden, right?
It is my first time, and it's amazing here.
How are you enjoying it? What have you been up to?
So I did arrive about 6 days early because I wanted to see Stockholm, and my mother joined me for our first trip together since I was in high school. And we toured around Stockholm for 2 days, and then we went north to see the Northern Lights. So I have now seen the Northern Lights for the first time in my life. It was amazing.
Wonderful. Do you know how far up you went?
Yes, I went to Kiruna.
Oh, yeah. Kiruna, yeah.
And then I went and I rented a car, so I ended up driving through a snowstorm to go an hour north to Abisko.
Abisko?
Yeah, yes, yes, correct.
So I learned if the forecast says maybe snow, it means a lot of snow.
A lot of snow, yes.
In Sweden, it's not maybe snow, it is snow.
Yeah, it is snow, especially this time of the year.
Yeah.
It is getting worse. We're also going into the worst part down here as well, so we're getting close to it.
We actually had last year, like 1 year from now, 1 year ago. In one night down here in Sweden, we got like, I think, 4 decimeters of snow in one night. That hasn't happened in like 50 years, but it was a rude awakening. When you looked out, you could cut the lawn in the Friday, and on the Saturday it was like this much snow. And nobody has their winter tires on, so it was
chaos last year. Yeah. So we're hopefully more prepared for this year.
Yeah.
And being at Comic-Con, you got here to Comic-Con yesterday or today?
Well, yes, I arrived back in Stockholm yesterday, and then I got to the Comic-Con this afternoon. I set up in a chaotic way, but now I'm up and running.
Okay, yes. And being at Comic-Con, how have you gotten the chance to sort of look around, or are you stuck at your table?
I haven't yet, since we did get in a tiny bit later today while we were gathering all the artists and organizing ourselves, but I am going to walk the show because I have to. I've never done a show in Sweden. I have to see what it's all about.
You have to experience it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wonderful. So I am a bit curious about becoming an artist and becoming the sort of artist that you have becoming this. How did you first get into this business?
Yes. My story is a little original because it does go back quite far. That a lot of people don't realize, but I'm actually from Poland and I immigrated to Canada when I was quite young. It is cartoons and animation and comic books that helped me learn how to read, write, and speak English. And that is how I became fascinated with it. And that is pretty much what led to my career, as I realized I hated animating and I didn't want to be an animator after going to school. And then I went into comics and I loved it. It kept my attention. I could tell stories. And now 20 years later, I am still working in comic books and loving every moment of it, other than the hours, because I work too much, but that's my own fault because I like to work.
It's hard to sort of limit yourself. Thinking about your own mental health and needs, that is always very difficult.
Mental health is always priority, but I'm just a workaholic and my mind is always going, so I sometimes have to remind myself just to slow down.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
So when you have a creative profession like you have, do you have a family or you're alone so you can put your hours in? Because if you have like 5 children, that should be hard, right?
I would really like to have children, mind you. I did have 2 dogs, which unfortunately passed away within the last year and a half. I had them my whole life, and they actually inspired a lot of what I do. They're in my coloring book. They appear in a lot of my comics. I'm getting better at having a balance because I would like to start a family one day, and I'm not getting any younger, unfortunately. But I really want that balance between a family life and a comic life one day when it gets to that point.
Yeah, we are both fathers, and we know what we do with our sons. We try to get them here. Yours is a little bit older, so it's easier for you. Mine is 3 and 5, and I really wanted them to come here, but they are a little too small yet. But I watched Comic-Con videos on YouTube with them before I went, so they knew where I was going. And they saw all the toys.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Dad, could you buy those?" And I was like, "Yeah, but maybe I don't have the money right now because they are pretty expensive." And the only answer was from my oldest was, "That's okay, we don't have any room anyway."
There you go.
Yeah.
Even though I do not have my own family currently, I always tell everyone that thanks to conventions, I have an extended family where I am the auntie to a lot of kids. Because in America, a lot of the shows I do, like San Diego or New York, I've been doing them for over 10 years.
Oh.
So I have watched so many children grow up.
Oh, yeah.
And since I worked on My Little Pony and then Teen Titans Go, my art aged with the children. Yeah. So I have all these kids I met when maybe they didn't even exist yet, and now they're 10 years old. Some of them are even adults. So even though I don't have my own, I still feel like I have a very big family around me thanks to conventions.
Yeah, you have 2,000 kids.
But that is also very interesting because your art and the work you do, it is targeted towards kids. But I see the line coming up to you, and I see that there are a bunch of adults, there are a bunch of not only women but also men. Are you ever taken aback by the fan base, the diversity in your own fan base, or how do you think about that?
I love it. It just shows you that comics are for everyone. And even when they're cute comics like My Little Pony or Teen Titans Go, you can still enjoy them as an adult because the stories themselves are great. You can relate to the stories. You can relate to the characters. And when you relate to a character, it doesn't matter if it's a pony or a human or a creature, you have that bond with it. So I am not surprised that there are a lot of adult fans because these are just great stories. And even though I draw them, I am a fan of these stories and I enjoy them myself. So when adults come, I'm so happy. When kids come, I'm so happy. It really doesn't matter as long as they are enjoying the stories that I am creating.
That is absolutely wonderful to hear, actually.
Yeah, I thought about when you're drawing. We take My Little Pony. Do you have like a favorite character that you put more work into? Because everyone has their own favorite, and I think when you're creating something, you get some of those characters might be a little more like you or something. You put yourself more into them. Is there something like that?
There is. When I draw ponies, Pinkie Pie I relate to. So when I draw Pinkie Pie, a lot of the times I think of how I would act because I am very bubbly and very hyper. In one of the DC Superhero Girls books, we introduced the Green Lantern Jessica Cruz.
Yeah.
And that book and that character is actually my favorite project because when she starts out in the book, she is not confident. She is very afraid to be a superhero because she doesn't think she deserves it. So the whole story starts with her always slouching, which is I sometimes get very insecure even if it doesn't show. And I used to be very, very shy to a point where I couldn't even speak publicly. I had a stutter because I couldn't get past a single word. So I taught myself how to speak to be able to meet people. And in this story, Jessica Cruz realizes that she is worthy of the power that she has, and she starts standing up straight. She starts talking more proudly. And because it is my own personal journey, I very much relate to this character, her finding herself, because we all take time to find ourselves, and you never know how long that will take. It could be sometimes a lifetime, but I feel very, very confident in what I do now, but there's still part of that timid Agnes will always be there.
Yeah. But if you see the characters that you have made now, you have like in Teen Titans, but do you create anything for yourself that is only you maybe don't share with anyone? That's your own little heroes or something?
I create to share. So this year I created my own coloring book and motivational book because I felt it's very hard for everyone. So I did my own Kickstarter. And because I want to do more of my own stuff and I want to share them, I don't really create just to hide my art. I create to share because I want to bring joy. My course forward with what I want to do is I don't only want to work with the publishers, but I am now starting to develop my own projects, which I hope that will be out within the next year or two. So that way I could give more of myself and more of my own creations to the world and not just work on very popular characters, which are cool, but I want to do my own stuff too.
Yeah, that is one thing, because you got me to sign up for your newsletter. Would you want to tell our listeners what the newsletter is all about?
Yes. So almost a year ago, I started my own newsletter because I got so many questions about how to create art. How do you draw? What is color theory? What's it like to work in comics? So I created my newsletter to slowly give my knowledge back, but at the same time, every single newsletter comes with some motivation and inspiration to keep you going. So it doesn't matter if you're an artist or not, you could still enjoy the newsletter because each and every one, I try to give you a boost, try to give you some inspiration to keep creating or keep doing what you're doing, and that's basically what my newsletter is. Plus, you get to be the first to know if I'm working on something really, really cool, and that's pretty cool bonus.
Yeah, that's very nice. And I like that sort of special touch. When you sign up for newsletters, it's mostly a side thing, you just to get the news, just to know, stay up to date with everything. But your newsletter seems to come with a lot more than that, and it seems very different, that sort of approach. And that is very impressive.
Thank you. I like doing things differently.
We are not going to keep you for too long because you have your things that you need to do. So I am going to end with a question. Currently, where are we at right now? What are you working on, or what is the most recent release you've had that you want to sort of endorse or promote?
What I can talk about is this January, the newest issue of Teen Titans Go, called Teen Titans Go on TV, comes out. I know it comes out in America, Canada. I am not sure international release date, but it is out this January. I am working on a lot of really cool things, but because of this thing called NDA, which means I can't talk about it just yet. But the next year is going to be a very interesting year because a lot of things you wouldn't expect from me will be coming out for sure.
Cool. Oh, so we can promise that it is going to be very interesting at least.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
I actually have one question, because I have family in Denver, and Mile High Comics, the biggest. Have you ever been to that bookstore, to that comic book store?
I have not. I've been to Denver twice now. Oh, 3 times now, but I have not gone into the store. I am a horrible person. I should do this
you're
next
not a
time I'm in
horrible
Denver. I have not, but I'll make a priority next time.
You're not a horrible person for not going to a store.
No.
That is not the worst thing people have done.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. And this is a big thing for us, and doing it in English is even bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite the challenge.
You're an English teacher, so...
Yeah, don't tell her that.
No, you did wonderful. And thank you so much for doing it in English for me, since I don't understand otherwise.
Do you speak any Swedish? Do you have any words?
I speak Polish, and I speak very bad French, and I speak 0 Swedish other than tak.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
could say tak.
That's a good one.
That's
Everything
enough.
you need.
So what do you do? What do you know in French? You said you know the bad French?
No, I know how to tell you I feel sick in French because apparently I got sick a lot in school. So I was like, oh, je suis malade. So I learned how to say I feel sick. I technically learned French till I was 12, but then I stopped studying it. So now I can't really speak it anymore, but I understand it.
Okay, yeah.
I always have as a goal to sort of learn the most important phrase, which is something along the lines of je ne comprends pas or je ne parle anglais.
Oh, that's an important one. I try my best to say I can't speak in whatever language. I haven't learned it in this one because you guys all speak English here. It's amazing. You made this trip so easy. This
You're doing
country's
your best.
awesome.
What did you say? I don't know.
I don't
French.
understand it. I don't speak French.
Okay, I can only laugh in French. It's ho. That's what I know. so that's quite okay. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Agnes.
We will probably maybe take a rounds and film you a little bit behind your table to get to our channel so everyone can see you. Everyone has actually seen you now. So we were going to put this out on the channel maybe tonight. See if we can.
So
big
thank you very much.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
Thank you. No, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Good luck.
That was so fun. You guys are very modest. Your English is perfect.